This is Morgan Lake, and we are just outside of La Grande, Oregon. This is a beautiful city park, and we're going to walk over and take a look at the lake. There are, I think, 10 campsites here. Perhaps there are 12. I'll double check that. And at each site, you have a fire ring, and some of them are shared sites. Some of them are individual sites, like site number 9 here. You can see on down, the next couple of sites have their own little picnic areas with a canopy for some protection from the sun. And each site does have its own picnic table. This is the back side. So you get this gorgeous view and those just spectacular flowers. The pines and evergreens are just so fragrant. And then down here, we have the lake itself. I've seen people utilizing it a lot. During the daytime, people like to come up and fish. And it's just now the end of May, so I'm not entirely sure if the kids are out of school, but definitely a lot of kids, young people, teens, like to come up here and do stand-up paddleboarding and kayaking. And a little bit later I'll show you, there's a little, it's not exactly a beach, but there's a dock area where you can put in. One thing to be aware of if you visit, there are a lot of snakes here, and I'm going to show you one right now. He is out this morning sunning himself. There he is. Yeah. And they're most active dawn and dusk. They come out and get some sunshine. Let's see. I don't want to disturb him, but oh, there's his head. Let's see if I can get a picture of his face. Oh, there's a spider walking on him. Can you see his face there? I don't know if you can. There he is. So, just something to be aware of. These craggy rocks, they like to come out here in the rocks and get toasty warm. It is a 17% grade getting up here. We're at the top of the mountain, at the very, very top where this lake is. Taking another look at one of the campsites. So with the grade in mind, you're going to have to be in a vehicle that can get up the road, getting in here. So if you have a van, if you're a car camper, if a truck camper, these things would probably get up here, but I don't think you could bring anything much bigger, and I don't necessarily think you could bring up a travel trailer or fifth wheel, and the sites aren't even that big anyway. There's Ted enjoying a little morning sunshine. We'll take a real quick look at these flowers over here because they're just so pretty. This little building over here is the pit toilet. One thing I can say is that there is a camp hostess. She comes around every evening. She gathers the trash. And The restroom is very clean. You know, it's a pit toilet, so it's not fancy, but you know, there's a lot to be said for cleanliness. I have seen people, day-use users, come, and they're also using the pit toilet, which is fine. There's a parking area right in front of it there, and we'll take a look at that. We have been here now for 3 days, and 3 days is the limit. You can stay here, camp here for free currently for 3 days. So we're going to be pulling out tomorrow morning and heading off for some new adventures. Oh, these flowers, they're just so pretty. The weather has been fantastic these 3 days. There was actually quite a bit of wind yesterday. We weren't able to have a little campfire last night. We had one the night before, so perhaps we'll be able to have one tonight. I'll have to gather a little bit of wood. Now here is site number 7. Take a little look. And again, this is the only one that has a tire swing. Let's take a look over here. It has its own trash, which, as I say, the host comes around and checks on that, make sure it's emptied nightly. I don't know much about the flora and fauna of this area. One thing that has really surprised me is that these are open trash cans, and yet there have not been any problems with animals, wildlife getting in them. You know, where I'm from, we have a lot of raccoons, and golly, we cannot leave our trash out at night at all. But here it doesn't seem to be a problem. Gotta keep A12 from getting in that water. Look, there she goes. Little explorer at the age of 14. Can you believe that? A12, let's not do that. Yeah. Yeah. Want to say hi to the people? Hi, people. Speaking of wildlife, I've seen many, many, many Canadian geese and their babies. They came here. They're having their little families. Here is the parking area for facilities. And again, more trash. Look over here at this view. Yeah, it's so pretty. Okay. So, just one of each. One for the ladies, one for the gents. There is a sign to knock first, so let's see. Just give you a quick look. Okay. A12. And so, come on, out. Come on, get out. A12. Leave it. And so you can see, as far as pit toilets go, It's not bad at all. Now, if you're coming to camp, they do not have a shower house. So you'll have to take that into consideration. Dad was hanging out at the van, but he decided he's going to come and join the fam. Hi, sweetie. Be careful for snakes, honey. Yeah, Mommy doesn't want you to step on a snake. By the way, I don't believe the snakes are poisonous, but it would be a bit of a shock, wouldn't it? Hi, honey. Okay, let's go. Here's the parking area for the day use, the dock. If you do come and you have a kayak or stand-up paddleboard, what have you, there's a little area here where you can put in. And then again, we'll be looking at the back side of the dock area. And you can see we have some people hanging out, catching some rays today, enjoying the sunshine. Checking in is easy. It's a self-registration system. You just stop at the kiosk here. They do have the rules posted, a map of the campground and park area, blank forms for you to fill out, and then a box to put the completed forms in. It's a pretty simple system. They do request that once you fill out your form, you go ahead and leave the yellow copy attached to your campsite post. So there are 12 sites. We have 11 sites that are on the water like this one. And you can see that's 10, 11's right there. And there's one that's tucked back there in the woods. I don't want to walk back there right now because there is another camper in there. But we'll just take another view. We were looking at site 9, and now this is site 10. And again, you just get a beautiful view of the water. Just around the curve there is a day use area. And I've seen many people come and park and fish from there. And there is also a trail. And we'll go take a look at the trail later that goes around the lake. I believe it's just about a 2-mile trail. We did walk on it yesterday, so we'll go take a look at that a little bit later. Here we are at the day use parking area. We got a little lucky because there's no one here right now, so I could go ahead and get a little film for you. You can kind of see now the entirety of the lake. It's not huge, it's just kind of perfect. There's a trailhead just off of the day use parking area, and as you can see, it's about 3/4 of a mile of a walk to the main entrance, and an entire loop is 1.68 miles. And just be aware, some of that is actually on the road, the gravel road that is. It's still a really lovely hike. We'll go take a little look. Along the path, there are two little boardwalks that you will cross over. While it's dry here now and a beautiful sunshiny day, I imagine that when the rains begin, these boardwalks are quite useful as the water flows down into the lake. The sun has warmed up quite a bit, and the shade of these trees feels really good. The path winds its way in and out amongst the evergreens, and you get little glimpses of the lake as you're walking. And just like the day must end, so too does my time here at Morgan Lake. I've spent my 3 days, which is the allotted amount of time that I can be here for free, and now it's time to move along. I hope you've enjoyed visiting this place as much as I have, and I'll see you as we ramble on down the slow lane.